Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of the Statesman Podcast. It has been a whirlwind of 2 weeks that we did not publish a video or an episode. It has been a hectic period, but we are back again, and I want to say shout out to everyone who has been supporting the podcast by way of subscribing and watching and liking our episodes, and those who are watching us for the first time and who have been watching but we haven't subscribed. Please support the channel by way of subscribing. It helps us in a massive way, and by the way, it's completely and entirely free. So let's get on it. So today's episode, what it does is it is going to examine a development that is sitting at the intersection of civil-military relations in Zimbabwe. Now, this refers to the retirement of General Valerio Sibanda and his replacement by an even older general who is Emmanuel Matatu. So, if you ask me, I would say it raises profound questions about the internal logic of Zimbabwe's ruling elite, or probably just the ruler Emmerson Mnangagwa. So the appointment of General Matatu, the retirement of Sibanda, and also the appointment of Ashawota Tafmane, to a political mind, what it does is it reflects on elite bargaining. It reflects on coup-proofing mechanisms and the ways in which ruling parties deploy the security sector to manage internal threats rather than external threats. So in today's episode, we are going to be unpacking implications of General Sibanda's removal, the recalibration of power within ZANU-PF, and what these shifts reveal about President Mnangagwa's succession strategy and long-term authoritarian project. Now, we have got General Valerio Sibanda, who has led the Zimbabwe Defense Forces since December 2017. And this is a man that has been retired after reaching the official retirement age of 70. Now, the puzzle, however, it lies in the fact that he has been replaced by a 73-year-old General Emmanuel Matatu. Some say he's 72 years old. And Matatu had previously taken over a role that had been left by Anselm Sanyatwe. Anselm Sanyatwe was retired and recycled into a ministerial office. Matatu himself has now been replaced by Ashawota Tafmane, a former Deputy Director General of the Central Intelligence Organization. Now, this pattern, it reflects a classic authoritarian phenomenon. What is the phenomenon? Elite recycling, reshuffling old cadres, not for institutional efficacy or institutional efficiency, but for political loyalty and regime security. Now, today, I'm going to dissect what Sibanda's retirement signals in the broader political context, or in the bigger scheme of things. Now, this man, Valerio Sibanda, is a soldier who was trained, and he served as a ZIPRA combatant. His military training was received in Tanzania. After completing training in 1974, he spent 9 months in Lebanon under the Palestinian Liberation Movement, PLO, Palestinian Liberation Organization. And that was before returning to Tanzania and assuming a role as an instructor. He commanded the ZIPRA forces in Morogoro under ZIPRA, which was a short-lived attempt at unifying ZIPRA and ZANLA command structures. He then served as the ZIPRA's military intelligence in the ZIPRA. He led actually the ZIPRA's military intelligence. But then post-1980, after the country attained its independence, he rose quickly through the ranks, and by 1994, he was reportedly the only ZIPRA cadre to become a major general. Now, after the 2017 military coup, he became Commander of Defense Forces, CDF, who is the head of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces. Now, it is during his leadership as CDF that soldiers, they shot unarmed civilians in August 2018, killing at least 6 people. Now, pursuant to that, the soldiers under his command, also they killed and allegedly they raped civilians during the January 2019 fuel protests. And as the Zimbabwe National Army commander in 2008, he presided over the army's violence against the Movement for Democratic Change supporters, MDCT to be specific. Now, despite a public sentiment that paints him as more professional or disciplined, for me, his record shows deep complicity in state-sponsored coercion, which is a hallmark of a securitized authoritarian rule. In 2017, when Chiwenga was abroad, he was in China, I remember. He was sent on a mission in China. And Sibanda was the most senior officer locally, and he sought clearance from Chiwenga to execute the coup. And I can tell you today that he could easily have been the face of the operation had Chiwenga permitted him. Now, this is a man who has consistently defended power. This is a man who I do not recall defending the powerless. Now, what does the retirement of this man mean? I think he is likely to join ZANU-PF. So Sibanda may be absorbed formally into the ruling party. His ZIPRA background makes him an attractive figure for ZANU-PF's symbolic politics, the politics of unity. Last year Mnangagwa attempted to appoint him as an ex officio Politburo member. An ex officio member does not have the full rights of other members. For example, that member does not vote. He observes, he attends and observes. Now, but because of the legal implications, that was suspended. Now, the second thing for me is potential vice presidents. So there is analysis suggesting that he could replace Vice President Mohadi, who has battled health challenges. However, this suggestion, it suggests that he may be positioned as a counterweight to Constantino Chiwenga. So you retire Kembo Mohadi, the president returns Chiwenga as a VP and replaces Mohadi with Sibanda. And now that acts as a counterweight to Chiwenga. Right, and here is a reason why that can be done. It is because of the Mnangagwa Chiwenga axis, which is in a very visible succession standoff as it stands right now. So Chiwenga's faction is weakened. It is lacking serious sympathizers. Obedobov's demotion, it signaled the cost of resisting Mnangagwa's 2030 ambition, and everyone else who was signaling to support Chiwenga, ever since then, it seems like they have fallen in line. Now they are not resisting anything, they are not saying anything, even in their social media accounts. So at the 2025 ZANU-PF conference, not a single voice challenged the Vision 2030, even when they were asked to do so. So even Chiwenga himself, he remained silent, but of course, what could he have done? He had already shown his resistance. Now that silence speaks volumes about the recalibration of internal power. I'm telling you, we know people that were a bit vocal about resisting the propulsion of Tagurei into the committees within ZANU-PF. But those people have since gone quiet, and it seems they're now singing a very different tune to the one that they were singing back then. Now they are all in sync. They are all in support. Okay, but this is what I also think. I think Sibanda may replace Chiwenga. I think this is classical Emmerson Mnangagwa strategy. And that is precipitated by the fact that Chiwenga is viewed as being in open rebellion with the president because he does not support the Vision 2030 project. And who supports it, honestly, to be honest? Only those that are benefiting from the Mnangagwa presidents. Those people that are looting. And they are looting because of their proximity to power. Those are the people that can only support the 2030 project. Otherwise, apart from that, no any person can really support that. So, by doing that, that would be a very huge blow, a fatal blow to Constantino Chiwenga. And ED can actually do that because Mnangagwa, what he has done over the years was he has effectively neutralized Chiwenga's base. Now, the defense forces have been paged and they've been replaced with officers that are loyal to Emmerson Mnangagwa. And that is a classic coup-proofing strategy that he has implemented. So if Chiwenga is dismissed, you will struggle to mobilize institutional resistance because the military wing of ZANU-PF has been defanged. It's no longer dangerous to Mnangagwa as it stands. Right, so on the option of Sibanda replacing Mohadi, that option, it aligns with the unwritten norms of the 1987 Unita Code, which were established when Joshua Ngomo became a vice president to Robert Mugabe, the first vice president to Robert Mugabe. And this established a tradition of constitutional requirement that the presidium must include a former ZAP figure. This appointment then will be in keeping with that tradition. But then if Chiwenga is fired, a presidium of Mnangagwa, Mohadi and Sibanda would maintain a ZANU-ZAP representation balance while sidelining Chiwenga. If Sibanda, now listen to this one, if Sibanda replaces Mohadi instead, now this would create a president surrounded by two former commanders of the defense forces. Now that is unprecedented. Probably even at the global scale, it's unprecedented. It may be unprecedented. I'm not saying this is a matter of fact because I haven't looked it up. Now, this is politically dangerous as well because Sibanda may be quieter than Chiwenga, but he is just as brutal, if not even worse. So, replacing Chiwenga makes more sense for regime stability than replacing a now visibly healthier Mohadi. Now, we've got a case now of Matatu and Tafumane, who are EDs, very loyal cadres. Now, I could analyze Matatu and Tafumane, but frankly, that puzzle is quite straightforward. That's why I'm not going to detail with that. But Mnangagwa is restructuring the security sector along what we would call neo-patrimonial lines. So, it is loyalty over competence. You have to be loyal first and foremost, and then the competence thing will come later. We don't consider it much, and that is practically politics for you. Loyalty, when you were in the school of politics, we're being taught that loyalty is probably the one asset that can propel one person to promotion more than anything else. Because what you need people that are loyal, people that can be loyal. The same way that Mzenda was very loyal to Robert Mugabe. That is how the symmetry of president and vice president should actually operate. You need someone who is loyal to you. You need someone who's not going to wake up tomorrow and say, I also want to be the president. like what we have today. And to be honest with you, Mnangagwa appointing Sibanda in place of Mohadi, that doesn't seem like politically wise for me. It doesn't, because Mohadi is one person whom you know right now will never wake up tomorrow and say, I also want to be president in place of ED. You will never compete for that position. But you've got Chiwenga, you know he wants that position, and you've got Sibanda, whom you are not sure, because that man, I think if there is any person that is misunderstood in the army of Zimbabwe or in the Zimbabwean politics board, it is that man. He is not as soft as people imagine him to be. He is not as toothless as people imagine him to be. He is a very brutal man. He is and there is evidence on the ground to back that claim up. 2008, we all know what happened to supporters of Morgan Tsvangirai when Robert Mugabe lost elections. Sibanda was the head of the army. He was the head of the army. He was not the CDF, but he was the head of the army. And all the deployments, they rested exactly straightforward on him. And then 2018, like I mentioned, 2018, 2019, people died, and no one was ever brought to account for that. No one lost a job. No one was arrested for all those things. But when innocent civilians died, that man is not as soft as people say. Evidence does not back that up. So I do not see how Emmerson Mnangagwa plans to play this. If people that are saying he wants to replace Kemba Mohadi with Sibanda, if that turns out to be exactly what is going to happen, then I am very curious to see how this all turns out at the end of the day. Because surrounding yourself with two vice presidents who are all former CDFs, hi. That will be very interesting for me. So what we have right now is we have Matatu, who is politically toothless and entirely dependent on ED. We have got Tafmane, who is an ED loyalist, who ran the 2023 electoral machinery through the Forever Associates Zimbabwe FAS, substituting the army's traditional role with an intelligence-led electoral project, I must say. Now, these appointments, they show one thing for me. Mnangagwa is militarizing loyalty, and he is loyalizing the military. So what we are witnessing here is the deliberate reconfiguration of Zimbabwe's authoritarian power structure. Mnangagwa is engaging in power consolidation, strategically rotating generals to weaken his rivals, manage factions, and secure his long-term rule. Now, on Sibanda's retirement, Matatu's elevation, and Tafmane's promotion, all of these, they reveal a regime that prioritizes political loyalty over institutional coherence. The security sector, it still remains the backbone of ZANU-PF's rule. And these maneuvers, what they do is they ensure that the backbone, it bends towards Mnangagwa and not Chiwenga, not the Zipra veterans, not the party at large. Now, as we move closer to 2028 and the debates on term limits continue, let's expect more of these tactical placements. Zimbabwe's political future, especially succession, will be determined less in parliament or the Politburo, and probably more in the barracks, the intelligence offices, and the personalized networks surrounding the president. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Statesman Podcast. Until next time, we move.